Hello and welcome to the live stream for Jordan Maxwell in memoriam, and this is the third annual year. Hello everybody out there in the chat. How's it going? We're going to start off with a little bit of music, and we're going to start here with Crown Jewels in the house. Crown Jewels are in the house. Say hi to Micha Dank, everybody.
What's up, Crown Jewels?
All right. And we are going to have to see what happens when the grid goes down.
But that's the war. That's the war we fight against this beast. We continue. We fight this fight till the lights go out. This is Taboo 7. It seems the establishment is again telegraphing lights out. One of the most recent warnings was the World Economic Forum warning of this lights out event, also dubbing this year the year of the poly crisis.
The signs in the skies that magneto space failing, extra solar blessing and these prevailing. We in a time when the truth's unveiling. You better catch up fast and stop trailing. And nailing focus misdirecting nations. Flames and die resisting temptations. Only way to move in taking haven. Agenda 21's all about sustaining. The powers that be to continue reigning. So don't be mad when nigga peas are raining. The days are numbered, I hear the stairs railing. So from here on in, it's strictly plain sailing. When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
When the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
when the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
when the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
better be ready. We're seeing more and more things like air glow, and this is all part of an increase in the sun's activity from these CMEs. The solar cycle 25. We're entering the peak a little ahead of schedule. We don't want to see a Carrington event happen this day and age.
Ready or not, keep your eyes at the skies with the signs biggie shot. It's now time to prepare for when the power's gone. Is it Chinese spy blues with biggie showered from, or Carrington 2.0 powered on? There's many scenarios for what happens when the countdown clock reaches the final second. Russian super nukes shoot the threat, so they letting them off like corona massive engines. Science the weapon and choice they've chosen, like classic is a vice, they cold and frozen. It's all lies, the world's not broken, but the countdown for 2030's not joking. When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
When the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
when the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
when the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
better be ready. We now have the actor Dennis Quaid reading from the script, giving out this warning, and he says that the election will go out up to 30 days. So that seems to be the window. They also state that people cannot survive without water, and that this too will shut down the water supply. How many people are paying attention?
Ready or not, pay attention. People to the lies they spin when the grid goes down. Was it planned by kings that demand I sling and a rock to swing? So show respect, it don't cost a thing. Like shots that ring, people look for cover when shit is the fan. Then people gon' suffer. The end's close, I can smell the sulfur. The grid's going down one way or another.
Yeah, it's lights out like an EMP. Blood in the streets in the land of the free. It's all by design by the GOV. ERNMENT. Unless we're getting hit by CME, there's really no telling when the moment it's gonna be. From the time of the spark, reject the mark. You better have a plan or get left in the dark. Yeah, from the time of the spark, reject the mark. You better have a plan or get left in the dark.
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
When the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
when the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
when the grid goes down,
When the grid goes down, you better be ready.
better be ready.
Ready or not? Ready or not? Ready or not?
I spent a decade warning everybody about this event. We're on the doorstep of it. I'm warning you. They're telegraphing it again. So this is a repeated theme. Now they got one of their Hollywood goons out here reading from the script. Warning, lights out is coming. It's like we can't trust anything going on out there. We've got to stay on top of things. Eyes to the sky, y'all. Yeah. Much love, fire. Occult priestess in the house. Duck, goose.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So that was Crown Jewels music, and looks like got a little bit of static in my attic. How you doing, Danka?
It was great. You know, that reminded me a little of Cypress Hill.
Yeah, it's got that womp, womp, womp.
And they got the voice for it, too.
It's so good. Yeah, I really like it. So I'm going to leave the stage for a second, give you the stage, and I'll fix my lighting. Thank you. You're live and alone, Danka.
What's up, everyone? So we got 17 people here right now. I just posted a video on YouTube inviting everyone to come in. 18 people. I'm great. It's a sad day. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, I'm alone here. Okay, whatever. Hello to everyone that's here. We got 19 people in so far. It's insane that we're doing this every year, but we are going to do this every single year. We're going to do this every single year because it's the right thing to do. You guys have heard that I'm going to be doing a major marketing thing on Guy Fawkes Day, which happens to be Election Day. So there's going to be some crazy things going on. I don't want to share it publicly yet because I don't want the people that are watching my YouTube to mess with it. And I'm not just talking about the people that watch my YouTube. I'm talking about the people that really watch my YouTube. 3-letter agencies and things of that nature. I don't want them to have a clue at what I'm doing. So as it gets closer, I will let you know. So just wanted to welcome you all here tonight. We're here for Jordan. My work would be nothing. I wouldn't even be doing this if it wasn't for Jordan. Jordan was the first person that got me into this. Let me bring Priestess on. Hold on. No, not yet. Okay, she's being funny.
It's all good. We just did it at the same time twice.
Oh, that's what it was? Okay. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to do this every single year. It's one day a year, and it's a memorial to the guy that really helped expand our minds. My first encounter with him, it was just a random algorithm on YouTube. And I was searching something in 2012, and I saw a lecture that he did where he was talking about everything relates to Saturn. And that really opened my mind up to everything. What about you? When was your first encounter with him, and how did you react?
I grew up listening to Coast AM. Cincinnati was one of the first places that they were syndicated. And I know that's the first time I heard Jordan Maxwell. But it wasn't until I was already, because he was so always on the periphery, right? Mm-hmm. If you're into knowing deeper stuff, it doesn't even have to be conspiracy or government, but just knowing the mysteries of life, you're going to come across Jordan Maxwell. And so he was always on the periphery. But when I met him, it was totally different. I could see how much love that man needed. And that's what I did when I was around him, is just hugged him within
Yeah.
an inch of his life. And you could tell that his health was failing. I met him just a few years before he passed.
Mhm.
And so I gave him all the love I could, as you know, like all the community. I knew all the people he had touched and everyone that he had helped see the world through clear eyes.
Mhm.
And so I gave him all the love I could.
Gotcha. Wow. It's fantastic. We're going to have Truthseekah on in a little bit. We started a little early today. It's 7:00 his local time, just about. And he should be coming on any minute, and we'll go through his story too.
You know, we also, if you wanted to stretch the time, we do have a 5-minute countdown if you want it. And I want to shout out Crown Jewels Music Group. Everybody go check out their music. You heard it at the top of the show. They're
Right.
freaking great.
And shout out to Priestess, because we were talking about 45 minutes ago, and I'm technologically stupid. Like, I don't know how to do any of this. So I gave her access to my StreamYard, and she set this whole thing up. So I figured I'm just going to leave her on my StreamYard, and she could just record whatever she wants. They allow you to have one additional person.
That's amazing. Thanks. You want to read this from J1303's?
Evening, all love. Jordan, however, he didn't state he was visited by evil entities. Even if that's true, his work is true. Maybe the dark side was helping him with the truth.
Interesting. I want to say a shout out to Joy Jolt. That's Claire Bear, you guys. You remember her over from Rockfin. So give big love and shout out to Claire Bear. And Mon Cherie, hello, darling. How are you this evening? Let us know what's going on with you. That's awesome.
So
we had
we're gonna do something, Priestess. In the comments chat right here. Apparently, people can only comment, or we can only comment as Occult Priestess. It doesn't come up as Micha Dank Truth Bombs when I leave a comment here.
In the StreamYard.
In this StreamYard. But if I pull up the YouTube video of us doing this live so that I can make comments, there's a slight time delay.
Oh, yeah. You just mute it. Like, I've got a laptop and then I've got StreamYard. So they're on two different computers.
I'm going to mute it. I'm going to do it. But what I'm going to do here, let me say hello to
Say
my
what?
Cherie.
Yes. Yeah, she's super. There she is. And I see some unfamiliar faces, so these may be your fans coming in here. And shout out to Chad. Hey, Chad, I sent him a tweet privately, and he came in. That's really nice. There's our Danka.
Mm-hmm. So not paranoid. My Cherie just said, Paranoid Americans spoke about you. Are you going to be a guest? My Cherie, I already did it. I don't know when he's putting it up, but it's going to be a couple. He had a lot of questions. So usually when I do interviews, you get one or two people. You get the people that just sit there and their eyes get really big and they just listen the whole time. And then the other people are the ones that keep interrupting with questions. And if you keep interrupting with questions during my presentation, I'm going to have to turn my presentation into like 2 or 3 episodes. So that's what I had to do with Paranoid American. But I am definitely on his channel. We're friends. And Derek said he's on.
Oh, great. So Truthseekah is here. J1303 says Jordan and Bill Cooper didn't get along. However, anyway, love from London, UK to you all. And How is Kate Bush over there in England? I'm always asking the British if they're taking care of the true Queen of England, Kate Bush.
Yes.
And we got a greetings from Florida. Excellent. So Truthseekah is here. Da-da!
What up?
What up? Look at his.
Hello, mister. You missed last year, so we got to have you back this year.
Yeah, I'm back.
Back like an art attack.
How are y'all?
Good.
How's everything? Greetings from Florida, from Lucero. That's the girl I was talking to you about.
Oh, I see. Oh, wonderful. Lovely.
She's
Good
watching.
time.
Yeah. She's very supportive. It's the best feeling.
Well, you're looking very, very sleek and professional, Truthseekah.
As always.
How are you, my friend?
You guys are great too. You guys hear me
How are you,
okay?
Truth?
I'm doing
So
well.
I was just me and Priestess were talking earlier about our first exposure to Jordan, and I didn't get to tell everybody tonight that Jordan I met through you. So I want to tell everybody a quick story. Can I tell them the? Do you care if I tell them the?
Yeah, you can
Um,
tell it. You can tell them the whole thing, like on both sides. But first, let me show off my necklace right quick that
all right, all right, all
I
right.
made.
It's incredible, dude. I love it.
Yeah,
Sweet. Who
yeah,
made it?
So
What's the story?
yeah.
remember, okay.
We
So
made
here,
it.
do you want to tell it, or do you want me to tell it?
No, you tell it. Go ahead.
You want me to tell it?
I want to
Okay.
hear you tell it. Yeah.
So me and Truth met a couple years ago. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Um, I reached out to him about astrotheology, and I sent him a video, and he was like, "Yeah, come on the channel." And we were talking, and he was very into it. And Truth is a Christian mystic, and he followed Jordan, and he understands astrotheology and how important it is. But at the time, a few years ago, when I had started putting everything together, I only thought that the Bible was astrotheology. I only thought it was that. And he kept trying to tell me, no, it's so much more, which I eventually learned and figured out. But what ended up happening was we did a video and that was okay. And then I asked to come back on and he was like, I don't usually have repeat guests. I was like, all right, that's not a big deal. I respect that. We talked here and there, we switched phone numbers. And what happened was he had somehow come up about Coast to Coast, that he had always wanted to go on Coast to Coast. And he started asking me about certain, what do you call them?
Publicists and stuff like that.
Yeah. Certain people who get you on podcasts or whatever. And he told me about one of them and they couldn't guarantee anything. And I was like, bro, I know Richard Syrett. I know one of them. He fills in for George Norrie when George Norrie's not there. So I introduced him to Richard Syrett. Richard is a Christian. Truthseekah is a Christian mystic, so it was great. I told Truth, I was like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to do a video on his channel, and if he likes you, he's going to invite you on Coast.
Yeah.
Just chill. Just put your best foot forward. Do your best, and this will happen. And that's exactly what happened. So I got him on Coast, and Truth told me that when he went on Coast, he said he got did you get a handwritten letter, or did you get an email from the guy in prison?
Oh yeah, man. There was a couple people in prison. Yeah, it was a guy and a girl. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I got letters from the guy, and who was in prison, and his girlfriend signed up for my Patreon to like be in between so that he could talk to me.
Right.
So he would call his girl, and then she would message me and stuff, and eventually I was able to jump on a phone call with him and stuff. But yeah, people listening from prison, man, at like.
And you said that their lives were changed, basically.
Oh yeah, two people in particular for sure.
So Truth was incredibly happy. He'd always wanted to go on Coast. I helped. Look, all I did was facilitate a communication. You did everything else. You put your foot forward. You put your best foot forward. You explained to him your work. You explained to him everything that you do. I didn't do that. That's all you. All I did was introduce you to somebody. All I was a contact. And then fast forward a little while later, my friend Chris Matthew from Forbidden Knowledge News sent a Facebook post about Jordan Maxwell, about how he was at a conference with him. And I was like, tell him about me, introduce him to my work. And nothing really happened. I mean, he did, but nothing really happened. So I told Truth that I had never met Jordan. And he was like, yo, hold my beer. I got this. So he basically... what were we using? Skype or something? We used Skype.
Yeah. Jordan loves Skype.
Yeah, we used Skype, and I met Jordan. I started talking to him, and then we started talking, and I started sending him my work, and he told me that it was quote unquote sensational. And then we started becoming friends. And Truth made this huge post on Facebook about it. And he was like, you guys have to understand that not everyone shares their contacts. Not everyone does that. And I'm like, but why? I see you're a good person. I see that I have access to something that you want. You know, I had no idea that you were friends with Jordan.
Right.
But you know, that's what ended up happening. So I got him on Coast, basically, or he got himself on Coast. I just made the introduction. He introduced me to Jordan, and the rest is basically history, and we've been friends.
Yeah. One good favor deserves another. You know, you never know who people are. You know, and
Absolutely.
Jordan spoke a lot about that, man. Anytime Jordan spoke about the angels,
Yeah.
you know, he was always like, hey, like in our fantasy realm, like even in spirit realm, like my book, like the angels would look like, you know, beautiful celestial beings. But Jordan, he's like, no, they look like people. The angels look like humans. So always be courteous and kind to strangers because you never know who or what that person is that you're doing a favor for, you know? And so they always, you know, would, you know what I'm saying, re- repay you, help you out when you need it. And so
Exactly.
that's just a way to live, right? And that's interesting, like that, like, you know, the whole thing of people holding their contacts back and not wanting to share, and you're like, why is that even a thing? You
Right.
know,
It's
it's so
something that,
crazy.
yeah. It's funny because, like, I guess money and power don't. Um, what money and power does is it makes you more of what you already are.
Yeah.
So if you're an asshole,
Yep.
right, you're just going to be a rich asshole. If you're an alcoholic and you go to the bar and you're broke, you know, when you run out of money, that's it. But if you're loaded, you know, and you have no idea where the night's going to go. People have to develop their personalities and really hit rock bottom in order to come back in peace and love. In order to do this, and it's not for everyone. There's, I mean, people do not, like, we could have been here 1,000 times before, but your best friend or your parents, this could be their first time. You know what I mean? So they're still
Hmm.
figuring the world out and everything. But how did you meet Jordan? That was my question.
How did I meet him? It was just this, you know, thing when I was going through my awakening and stuff, and just asking deeper questions and watching a lot of his content. And I feel like his phone number, or no, his email. He gave his email out at the end of a interview one time, and I just emailed him, and he gave me his phone number, and that was it. Of me just being a truck driver, truth seeker, like um, sharing long phone calls with him. It blew my mind again of how accessible he was.
Yes.
That's what blew my mind.
And
You
I
know,
see
because
that's how me and you are too. Online. Like, doesn't matter how big the channel gets, like we're always talking to everyone. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't do that.
yeah, I try to make myself accessible if the people really need me. Even if they have to jump through some kind of hoops and stuff, like I'm super busy. Um, but I try to make sure, like, okay, if the young truth seekers out there and needs to talk to you, man, like, you know, you need to make yourself available. And again, Jordan did it, and I needed him, you know, and he really helped me, you know, just by encouraging me. And I was in between the church realm of what it would look like to be, you know, an evangelist and continue to do ministry the way it was, but then, you know, following my heart, which was the deeper mysteries and, you know, things that the obviously you share online, like all the weird Christian beliefs that they have that don't make any sense, that like
Right.
if you was to contradict or correct any of those crazy beliefs as you're doing, just in simply, hey, this is talking about pride cometh before the fall, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Leo comes before fall, all of these things. And it would get you shunned in the circles that I was in. And it was hard on me because I was like a celebrity in those ranks, you know. And then you're
You know,
like,
it's funny too because like what you just mentioned. Pride comes before the fall. Like that's a straight up double entendre.
mm-hmm,
You know, and people who are religious do not give the Bible the respect that it deserves in
mm-hmm,
how deep it actually is. This thing is layered. And I just teach one of them. I don't even teach one of them. I teach like a part of one of them. You know what I mean? And it's just such an incredible book, but it's at the end of the day, it's not original. And it's certainly not history. You know what I mean? But it's oh God, I don't even remember what my life was like before I started doing this work. You know what I mean? Like as soon as I discovered Jordan and Santos,
Hmm.
I wasn't able to function in society anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It makes it fun. You know, for me and for my community, as far as like coming from a Christian background, it was scary for us to find Jordan's work
Right.
because it's like somebody finding your work, and it's like, what? What's this guy talking about? No, pride before the fall means this. The problem is, you know, what we've talked about is when you get into the place of it only means that. Well,
Right.
that is the fulfillment of pride because in your arrogance, you know exactly what it means and the only thing it means. That it
Hmm.
only means this. It only, you know, relates to, you know, a person who becomes arrogant and prideful. They're soon to fall and fail,
Right.
and it totally means that for sure. But where does that like? Why is that a law? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
It's a law because it's written in the stars before it was written on paper.
Right.
You know, and so
Exactly.
to question anything or to see it from a different perspective or in a different light, you know, it was scary. And then
Oh
some of
yeah.
the things that he would say, like Jesus never existed, or you know, this was the same thing about Horus and all the other, you know, risen saviors or whatever, and how that attacked this thing that we held that was it was the only thing that was different.
Right.
It's kind of like when you know, you're listening to a band and it's an underground band and you found this band and they're freaking amazing and nobody knows about them. It's your band,
Right.
and then they become popular and mainstream and then everybody has the band. It's like, oh, I thought it was just mine. It's like, no, this is for everybody. And then you get mad. You should be happy for that band because that
Right.
band is now like achieving success. They
Right.
were only underground because nobody knew who they were, and now they're much larger and they have more success and they're more funding and they're you should be happy for them. But then you abandon the ship or abandon the band because it's become popular. So that's where,
Right.
you know, the exclusivity that most Christians are holding on to. The
Uh-huh.
moment that you say, "Hold on, let's look at the life of baby Horace. Let's see
Right.
how baby Horace, you know, was cured and you know by putting spit in the eyes and you know
Right.
power flowing through the hem of his garment and these kind of things and which came before." So where honor comes in, where the reason we're doing a talk like this, honoring Jordan Maxwell and his work, is because he's one who came before us with the information, and there's so many people who would just take it and not give the honor and not say where they got it from. That's the
Hmm.
connects thing. Hey,
Hmm.
bro, how'd you get on Coast to Coast? Well, he's just a friend. Oh
Right.
man, how'd you get on?
So I
Oh,
got a
just
question. I got a question for both of you right now. One of the things that I get a lot when I share my videos is people send me the Zeitgeist debunked video. Right?
mm-hmm.
What do you guys, Priestess too? Have you seen? You've seen Zeitgeist, both of you, right?
And
Right.
there's
Oh yeah,
part two as well.
No, I'm literally just talking about the astrotheology part, the first
yeah.
part of the first one,
Oh, okay.
right? So people debunk it, and they don't. They don't. I just it closes people off. You know, I've been
Well,
studying this. Yeah.
it's the exclusivity because what you're sharing, what Jordan, what Peter Joseph, and those guys were sharing, can't be true. So I have to have a response for people who are watching these videos because Zeitgeist blew up, and Zeitgeist probably was my introduction to his work, you know, and to astrotheology, and I think a lot of people.
Hmm.
But you
Hmm.
have to have a reason why this is wrong. And so the Zeitgeist debunked, and they actually had one. They may still have the website, the Zeitgeist Challenge, or so they was say he was offering $10,000 for anybody to prove the Zeitgeist, and so I guess they would just show flaws and stuff in there and saying, well, they are putting words in these you know, Horace never did that, Krishna never did that, all of these things, and um, just trying to show why he's different. Obviously, they're all different in their own respect, right? They're told in
Hmm.
different languages and in different times,
Hmm.
but the stories, like your your head is in the sand if you're not, you know, or you haven't read it, any of those stories, any of those texts. There's no way. Like even as a Christian, like I'm still a Christian, and I'm spouting this off. Like
Right.
I'm still like that's my tradition, that's my language, that's my lingo. But I know that that's a magical tradition that is ancient, that goes back to the stars, that goes back to Sumer, that goes back to Babylon and Egypt. And what we do,
Definitely Egypt.
and we honor it. You better honor Egypt. Egypt. I'm not finna take their stuff and dishonor them. You're crazy.
Right.
So we're gonna take their stuff and know where it comes from. Why? Because it's working. This is universal language. This is in the stars before it's on your paper.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
you
the
guys
question,
think
sorry,
original
yeah.
paganism that followed astrology, basically that was their religion, astrology, nature. So is astrotheology kind of like a bridge between paganism and Christianity?
I would say so for sure.
Where do
I
you
would say
guys think the science of astrology works? And it makes sense to decode the Bible, but where do you guys think we got the 12 signs from? Do you think it was handed down to us? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are mostly Greek. The Greek gods are the planets. And if you want to talk to Hermes, you have to go to the Roman name, right, of Mercury. But before all that war happened, you would just go straight up to Hermes and spiritually and say, hi, guide me, God, just like we do today with the Christian Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you get there, he says, "Oh, meet my friends."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, all the other planets.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which are gods.
once you can respect them, like once you respect, so in a strange way, it's like it's almost like a mystery school that's been shrouded that no, you're not worthy to say their names because
Right.
you're disrespectful. And
Right.
if you knew that you knew the names of these gods or you knew these planets heard you and watched you what you were doing and the stars are messengers and all that, then you would disrespect them. But if you knew that, or if you even believed your Bible, you live differently. Like you
Mhm.
may live in such a way that God is watching you or Jesus is watching you, because isn't that what, like, we claim to believe or whatever? So
Mhm, mhm.
it's like
It's interesting because the word Elohim, El is Saturn. El is Saturn. And Ohim in Hebrew is when you put an S at the end of something, it makes it
hmm
plural. It's the planets. That's the Elohim, the planets.
El is Saturn.
El is Saturn, yeah.
So Elohim, let's go with this. We break it down. It actually means enlightened man, a man who is angelic, right?
People don't realize that etymology plays a huge part of this.
shout
Numerology,
out to Jordan Maxwell.
symbology,
hmm
all this stuff plays a huge. It. What you guys don't realize is, like, if you're reading the Bible literally, and you have to go through apologetics, and you have to find a way to explain why there's a talking donkey, a talking snake, all the contradictions and all this. They run around in circles to do that with apologetics. However, you got to realize that all these ancient sciences, all this Kemetic wisdom, fits together like a glove.
Yeah.
And if you're not seeing the symbiosis of everything and understanding that, you really don't have the understanding.
Because
And
you
it
said
is-
Kemetic,
Right.
which is Chem, which is for those who don't know Egypt.
Exactly. And it's
before
coming back too.
Christianity. So you're
It's coming
taking a
back, too.
Bible book, which came after the originals, and then you're reinterpreting it so that you can take it back to the original. But it's still kind of a pretender in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Until you're led into the next phase or the next
Right, in a sacred
rung of the
knowing
ring.
sacred way.
Do you guys think that a lot of people dismiss astrotheology? A lot of people do right at that, and that's fine. Maybe they're not ready for it, or maybe they're not going to be ready for it. But do you think that when you grasp the concept or you begin to understand the concept, your whole world gets shattered?
Just like conspiracy theory, it's a truth that you have to come to an understanding of, right? And what is it to come to an understanding? You have to actually be studious and pay attention and be bright and be awake. And a lot of people are not passing that test these days.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But
We
at
are
the same
talking
time,
about a very small amount of people who can even digest the information.
Mhm.
No, I think us. I say I'm all of us. Like I think we're pretty freaking deep and a lot of it blows our heads. Like, so like somebody who's brand new and doesn't have, they haven't developed their mind to hold two contradicting thoughts and allow them to both be right. You know what I'm saying? And still, live life and still hold on to whatever faith you have. You know what I'm saying? So it's not easy. This stuff is super deep, but once it is the origins, and whatever shows that to you, it's
Hmm.
different things that shows it to us, like what I'm saying, why it's real,
Hmm.
why it works for you, which part is it, and where does it fit in. It has to fit somewhere, even if the somewhere for many people is like, oh, it's a fairy tale, it's something that's created to take our mind off of God, you know whatever, it's created to deceive people. You have to judge it and call it something.
Hmm.
But once you stop doing that and you're led into its secrets and its mysteries, you're, you know, the scriptures say this. I was just pondering this a few minutes ago, like consulting the dead, of like, you shouldn't consult the dead. And I know, like, we think of the dead as people who have died. We think Jordan Maxwell to be dead. That doesn't flow in my vocabulary anymore. Like that he is dead. No, no, no. He's more alive, and he's abroad, and you know and more powerful than we could ever imagine. His so-called death or transition from this realm was a victory, and he
Hmm.
couldn't wait. He knew it was coming.
He
He
did.
was
I
ready.
remember him saying, "Something big is coming, but I won't be here for it."
Yeah.
Right? That's
Oh,
basically
yeah,
what he
he
told
had to look forward
Freeman.
to that. But consulting the dead is like going back to, because the scripture says the dead know nothing, right? The dead know nothing. Well, where are we getting this information from? The stars are alive. They're living creatures. The four living creatures in the heavens,
Hmm.
they're living. They're not dead. Consult the living creatures.
Hmm.
The plant kingdom, you're talking about pagan, like the plant kingdom is alive and is holding and carrying great information that they're willing to speak to us and tell us if we're ready, or if we could handle it, or we can learn to speak their hermeneutics.
Hmm.
If we can learn to speak their language, their tongues.
Hmm.
Tower of Babel messed all this up. We can't even speak to each other, let alone
Right.
speak to the animals, or speak to the gods, or speak to the plant kingdom
Hmm.
and honor them and listen to them. Because I'm telling you, everything speaks. Nothing cannot not speak. That's
Hmm.
including a planet, that's including a star, that's including
Hmm.
a Bible, that's including any and everything is always speaking. It's
Hmm.
your ability to perceive what they're saying.
Right.
So that's astrotheology, man, for sure.
Yeah. I think a big part of it has to do with the fact that we like to think we're the furthest along in society with like our works and our our our, our medicine and our understanding of technology. We're not. People don't have that idea yet. They think because we're the furthest along that basically we're the smartest, and that's not true. But the problem is nowadays is that since the Industrial Revolution, we have all this pollution, smog, all this stuff. Go somewhere where you can go up and look at the stars and see everything happening. We can't really do that in the States. You know what I mean? I mean, there's some locations where you can, but imagine going to see like Aurora Borealis in Canada and trying to explain that to a child. You would use a story. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing across the board. These are stories, these are metaphors that are used. And there's nothing wrong with taking the good out of it either. But I think that when you realize the Bible is so much more, then you can release the bad. I think you need to understand that if you believe that it's literal, then you have a fear of God, you have a fear of this, Jesus coming, all this. But when you realize it's more than just a literal book, then you can get rid of all that fear. And that's what I think I try and do is I try and remove the fear out of people. I give people a logic explanation. Look, I went into astrotheology with this to try and be debunked. I said, look, this makes incredible sense to me. I make videos. I say, this makes a lot of sense to me. This resonates with people too. But I would love for someone to come out and explain to me how I'm wrong. Show me that I'm wrong. I went into this to be debunked, and it did the exact opposite. So,
hey, you guys, I want to shout out Chris and Steve Cremmy. They are publishers. They're a publishing house, and they also write books, and they're really amazing people. So try to check out their Substack. I do believe I follow them. So if you need their information, just go ahead and contact me at occultpriestess@gmail.com. That's them. They rock. And we should all shout out everyone in the chat. Everybody's having a good time talking about Jordan Maxwell. So
What page are we live on? Are we live on your page?
we are live on. Are we live with you, Micha Dank? Did that work?
I didn't see
we should
you.
be live. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook.
On Truth Bombs?
It should be. Yeah. Worst case scenario, it should be on Corinne's, because I know it is.
Well, it's definitely on mine, but it's also on my Twitter as well, which is @Occult Priestess. And I tagged you, Truthseekah. I tagged you on everything.
Awesome.
I can't believe Crown Jewel's music is here. That's so cool.
Okay, I see it. I'm going to share it out now.
So the mystical part of what you guys were talking about, everything speaks. Everything is here for your betterment, for your enlightenment, to help you understand. All you need is the power of observation. These things are originally, these are very pagan concepts. And so I'm seeing that bridge once again through astrotheology back to true nature and back to true mysteries, which is what the occult priestess is all about.
You know what I always tell people? I always tell people, look, they'll tell you that astrology, they'll tell you that yoga, they'll tell you that all these different things are called New Age. That's how the Christians will dismiss them.
It's a curse word to them.
When they realize, or one day they'll realize, that these sciences are not New Age, that's a buzzword. These are actually older than their own beliefs.
Well, I find it difficult that you call it science, since science was invented in the 1800s. And before that, it was called natural philosophy, which is a lot closer to the truth, right?
Yes. Oh, I like
These
that
are
better.
Philosophies. Yeah, because the originals tended to be right. It seems as if the more we incarnate, the stupider we get.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree with that, guys?
Yeah, David Wilcox said in the early days, hey, come on, let me. He said it first, so I'm honoring him. He said, man didn't evolve from monkeys. We're evolving into them, or devolving into them.
Yikes. He would think that, wouldn't he? So shout out to the Blue Chicken crew.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Jordan Maxwell wasn't into that either. We were at the same convention with the Blue Chicken crew, and he was always like shooting them dirty looks. So that was fun. Alex Stein actually told me he thought they were full of crap. Alex Stein is the one who interviews everybody out in LA.
I had him on my show recently for the first time.
Okay. I confronted him quite a bit, actually. You want some dirt? Alex Stein is, he's a bit of he likes the ladies. Let's just put it that way. And everyone.
I may be thinking of somebody else. Steinfeld? Alan Steinfeld?
Steinfeld,
No,
that's
Alex
right.
Stein.
I'm saying Alex Stein because I actually like Alex Stein. Primetime 99, Alex Stein. But yes, Steinfeld is the one I'm talking about. You can go to Truth and you can see
I used to interview on his podcast.
Danka. I have him on my channel as well from a few years back. I've got a few interviews with he and I arguing. It's so much fun. You should check it out.
Well, I have Jordan Maxwell on my channel.
Excellent. Wonderful. Yeah, I just have pictures with him.
With Alex. I remember being on his.
I wish I could have met him, man. I did in the flesh.
I wish you had too. I would have traded places with you easily. All you have to do is go out to LA. Everyone's there. Everyone.
Yeah. What do you guys think about his? He had almost like a fascination for Zecharia Sitchin's. But when I talk to people, a lot of people do not like him and think he's fake. What do you guys think about that?
Sitchin?
Yeah.
I think he was full of crap and he was part of social engineering.
I just got done reading the Lost Book of Inky. I'm fascinated with trying to go back to the beginning, of the first ones.
That we were made by star people that
or
we are
came
not
from
made
yeah,
by
I mean
God.
it ties in with the Bible, and it ties in with all the
Well,
creation stories, like the gods come
not
down.
all of
And
them.
which one doesn't it
The Greeks,
doesn't
we
say
fell
Greek?
in the Greeks, we fell from we were celestial beings, beautiful
Mm-hmm.
souls,
Mm-hmm.
and we fell in love with the earth. Thus, we
Well, they're
fell from
children,
heaven.
and then the children who came forth from Gaia and Uranus, which is probably where we're from.
Well, that's not Greek.
Why is it not Greek?
I guess
Uranus and
Gaia is
Gaia
the Earth
had
Mother.
had
In
children.
true, it's a bit of a different story when we
It's
fell
it's
to the
about a
Earth.
thousand stories put together. That's where this
True,
stuff comes in.
but
Yeah,
we
there's
were
so many
basically
different
we
aspects
were
of it.
mature souls who fell in love with Earth, and then we had the fall. But the fall in the Greek is to fall in love. It's not a negative, egoic kind of fall.
Yeah, no, but I mean, just where something from heaven looked down and came into or came together with something natural from the earth,
Yes,
which is the Uranus or Uranus and Gaia story, and then they had children, and then everything started having children, right? And
right.
then they had, what I'm saying, you have the nymphs who start
Because
mixing with the spirits of the underworld, and then they had children, and so we get all of these different types of beings. I'm saying
because
in my syncretism, I see that in every
oh yeah.
tradition.
But the human story is what people don't quite understand. The human story of the soul is multidimensional. And we lived like as nymphs or as minerals, as all of these other things before we came into full fruition of body. Because you had to learn all these different stages of being before you could be a full human. I think it's really amazing story.
Yeah, it's incredible to me that we think we live in a material world. We think that
Because we're
everything is
material
matter, everything is
girls,
made up of matter, and then you
I'm a
learn,
Barbie girl.
right? But then you
right?
learn about like quantum physics, and you realize that everything is just empty space, and that like if you're not looking, if there's no conscious looking at something, it doesn't exist. It's kind of
I think that is the ultimate narcissism. If you're not
Mm.
looking at it, it's not there.
If
well,
I'm
it
not looking
exists
at it,
in
yeah.
superposition. It exists in multiple places at once. They've done studies on this. But
Oh,
think
I
like,
agree.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm not going to get into the science stuff because that just triggers me.
I know. So
But that's where I was gonna go when you were asking about, where did astrotheology come from, or where does the zodiac come from? Um, Sitchin's at the end of Sitchin's book, it ties in that each of the 12 Anunnaki became celestial gods that would be worshipped at different times of the month, or year out of the 12. And so you had one that you would call upon, and that would govern that sector, or season, or whatever. So he ties into that.
mhm.
Which, I mean, whatever name you want to give them, there's Greek, Anunnaki, like it's all of them. When you start looking at the names
But
of the
when you use the
stars,
language Anunnaki, I know you're reading those books from those people who are talking about the Anunnaki. These are not things that we talked about in even the 1800s, the 1900s. I have old books and magazines of even theosophy, and none of these things were mentioned. So this is all new.
I've
So
got, can you
to
see?
me, that says it's been socially engineered.
No, I've got tons of books from theosophists, from Christian mystics, Corrine Helline, like who talked about how we came from the stars, that we are the star beings. I mean, it's just the language that
Well,
the
there's a difference between coming from the stars and actually being created by another race, an Anunnaki race, and,
Mhm.
and having that middleman between you and God,
well
which I
well
think
the
works
person the
towards.
person that we're on here honoring right now totally believed that, and
I
he
think that
honored
works towards
Sitchin.
transhumanism.
He no, he believed that there were beings who were way smarter, way faster, way more intelligent, who could travel the solar system and come here and live a normal life, but were from a different bloodline and breed who were the people from the beginning who ruled this planet and who have us essentially, Jordan would tell you, as slaves, if you will, which would be like
Right.
still
To
going
mine
back to that
gold
story.
for
Now to
some.
say that, what I'm saying, what they look like, now that's up for, were
Well,
they
no, they
reptilian
enslaved humanity
aliens?
to mine gold because their protective layer over their planet was deteriorating.
Yeah, that's right.
That is science fiction straight up, in my opinion.
I
Well,
don't.
that's true.
Well,
Hello.
they
Yeah,
created beings to mine for
right.
So,
them.
like, we're all Gollum or something at this point in this
You know
story.
what's interesting too? There was a camera
Yeah.
that came out about a year ago. It was like
A cannon?
a camera. It
Oh,
was a camera that came out about a year ago. It was a big old thing, and they removed it from the market because people were saying they were zooming into the stars, and they were alive, and they said that they could see it, so they had to remove this camera from it because when you actually see what a star does, it's crazy.
well, did you see it?
I did not, but I know someone that has the camera that did. There,
Oh,
Jerry
wow.
said the Nikon P1000. I knew it was 1,000 something, Jerry, but I couldn't remember. Thank you.
Shout out Jerry and Niche of Obelisk. Shout out, you guys. They have a great show, and it's always wonderful to be around them.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can see so much with your cell phone, man.
Right.
I mean, we
Well,
do
Jerry,
like
hold
You
on.
can
Jerry
see so
just
much more with your heart.
right.
Jerry just said you could still find them for 1,000. Jerry, those are not the right ones. They've been what's the word for it? Refurbished. They've been refurbished. You can't find the original ones anymore.
That's really sweet, Twilight Son of Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
That's really sweet.
We had a question here that I like. Where is it? Spirit
This
World.
one?
Yep. What are your guys' favorite stories that Jordan told about his life and encounters? I am a big fan of him talking about that girl he was dating when he was like 18 and how her dad started talking to the stars and all these crafts started coming.
Yeah, I see. Jay says that's his favorite story. That's my favorite story. That's my favorite story. I can't lie.
I was totally shocked. So he was giving a live talk in LA, and he said that his ancestors basically owned most of what we call now Washington State, and that he felt it was his duty to reveal the truth about politics and power because he felt it was karmic dealing with his family bloodline. So I was really shocked when he said that. I had no idea what truly motivated that man until he said that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that he mentioned in that story that I've tried to look up in the past, and again, like I wasn't ready for it, was the book that he mentions that the man gave him. That the night before, so he meets. We kind of should retell the story. It's better to hear him say it, honestly, if people can find it. It's a great story, but
Fireside chats with Truthseekah.
so whenever he meets this girl and her father takes him outside and talks to him and tells him things that he knows about Jordan that only God and Jordan would know about Jordan. And he tells him, he said, "Yeah, I saw you when you were sitting out there when you were a little boy picking the side of those steps, and you were smelling the wood, and you thought that the wood smelled funny. I saw you when you did that." And Jordan's like, "What? Who are you?" He's talking to this man that he's dating a girl, and Jordan met the father, and the father's telling him this. "When you're a little boy, I saw you." And they had just moved into town. So he finally got to meet the father. He's telling him these things about himself, and he says, I see that you're into UFOs as well. You really like UFOs. "Oh, yes, I'm into ufology and the deep subjects." "Yes." He's like, "Well, would you like to see some UFOs tonight?" And Jordan's like, "Oh my God, what?" "Yeah. Who are these people?" He said, "Okay, follow me." Go in his backyard. He says, "Okay." The guy closes his eyes and looks up in the air and starts talking. And a few minutes later, he opens his eyes, looks at Jordan, and says, Okay, they'll be here any moment flying from Griffith Park. They'll be here and you'll be able to see them. And said Jordan's like, what's going on? So he said, sure enough, just a few minutes later, 5 minutes later, these beautiful discs appeared and hovered above them, and they were fluorescent, like really bright orange and green and purple, vibrant colors that were just hovering above them, three different ones, and they were spinning. And Jordan's like, what the heck? And anyways, and then he says, well, they said they got to go. And they told me to tell you that they've chose you and you're here to do some amazing things and inspire a lot of people. And everything that you need is going to be taken care of, and they're going to make sure of it. You're okay. The UFOs leave, and he goes back inside and sits down with the man. It's like, man, what just happened? He said, it'll all be revealed to you in time when you're ready. And he says, until then, here, I want you to have this book. And he hands him a book, and it was the life work of Charles Fort was the name, Charles Fort. And I remember getting the book or the PDF years ago, trying to read through it, and none of it made sense to me. And it wasn't until just a couple of weeks ago I started looking through it, and some of the stories in there that Charles Fort wrote about, very interesting. He was pretty much, if you talk about like a mantle that has been passed down of somebody's life work, and then someone picks it up just because like they're not here anymore and they were inspired by, and so somebody has to take the torch and run with it. Like when you're reading the work of Charles Fort, you can see where Jordan Maxwell was inspired even as a young man, finding Charles Fort's work and stories about the paranormal and the unseen and all of these anomalies and phenomena that challenged the status quo and agreed upon history and agreed upon science. That this guy was finding holes in all of this stuff and anomalies that the people were experiencing, but it would never make it into any of the books. He's talking about frogs falling out of the sky and fish and just all types of like wild supernatural stuff just stacked in his books from story after story after story. And so looking into all things strange. And I feel like it was in that book came out in the 40s, I believe. So anyway, check it out. It's called The Complete Works of Charles Fort. But that's the book that the man gave Jordan the night before
Well, you know
he
that
left.
Jordan.
But then when he came back the next day to go talk to his girlfriend and talk to the father again, because like, man, this guy's deep. I could talk to him all day. He goes back to speak with him. His girlfriend, the whole family, have packed and moved overnight. Dun dun dun. That's it. So I want to look the book up.
That is amazing. And I'm going to show us from last year. You paid tribute. You've written music. You've done some great work. And we're going to feature that right now.
It's basically
Showing
his
us from
agent to close out the age of Pisces, the age of deception.
He
Whereas
even
now-
looked like a Pisces, even though he wasn't.
Now we moved into, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then we moved into the age of Aquarius now, which is the age of enlightening, where all this stuff is going to explode. You know, this
Well, he
is gonna
never,
happen.
well, he never gave that aspect though. So that's what me and my community represent. Hold on, man, it's gonna get good on the other side, you know?
But he wasn't going to be here for that. So why would he
Ex-
teach it?
Exactly. And so
Hey.
that's where we pick up the torch.
Yeah, that's it. And
Yeah.
there's a quote from about the torch bearers from Plato. I think if somebody could look that up. But let's
Wow.
take a break, guys. We're going to take a very small break, but we're going to play Jordan Maxwell. So this is going to be Jordan Maxwell.
Okay, so unfortunately, Jordan cannot be here in person. Good question. But he's going to do a live original Skype presentation, and it's going to be. All right, Mary, you ready to call him? You guys ready to call him? All right, here we go. Now I'm going to put you guys on camera too.
Mark calling Orson. Come in, Orson.
Say hello. Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Zach. You hear me?
We sure can. What are you in a sandwich?
About time, huh? So anyway, where are we? What are we doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Maxwell.
Because all the things that I've been warning about for the last 55 years are now finally here, and I'm really not up to it. So I just stay home and stay out of the way. I'm too old and too tired to fight anymore. It's become a very dangerous world for me to live in. I know too much.
And then he said to me, he said, you've always been interested in UFOs and otherworldly things, right? And I said, yes, I have. He said, would you like to see some UFOs up close tonight? And I said, I'd love to. He said, well, come on. I can do that for you.
Truthseekah.
There was a knowledge given wisdom for you to behold. Invisible college in the silence, the way it's shown. Illuminate the path to the seeker who walks alone into the mind of a mystic. What a secret will be made known. All the wisdom people to traverse the sky. Communicate through telepathic waves deep in your mind. Beyond space and time. Where we touch through meditation. Divine design. We move past your speculation. Radiant light being traveled from other planets. In a secret we wait within a state of overstanding. UFOs above my house. Enemy thoughts from telepathic, frequent linking frequencies from outer space, intergalactic. Avatar, speak life to my body. Illuminate my third eye and guide me on my journey. Yearning and I'm discerning, been handing knowledge like hermits who went severing the serpent, the service unto his purpose. Knocking mysteries, the magic of John D. Giving sacred enchanted seals, evoking the Elohim. Summon the Malachim, well in the unseen. Wings of the dawn, fulfilling the prophecies. Knocking mysteries, the magic of John D. Giving sacred enchanted seals, evoking the Elohim, summon the Malachim, well in the unseen, singers of the dawn, fulfilling the prophecies.
The man, they kept tabs, kept their eyes on this land. As part of their plan, they want us to succeed and expand. They killing disease, they cloak ships, replenish the trees. They keep the oxygen circulating, filter the sea. Then burrow in soil through sedimentary rock to make oil.
And a triangle formation came over and stopped right above our head and stopped. And when they did, you could see they were disc shaped, and it appeared like it was like a pie cut in 6 or 8 slices, and each slice was a different color. And what I remember distinctly is each color was like a laser color, vibrant orange, vibrant pink, very vibrant colors, 6 or 8 colors on each one, and they were circulating. Not so fast as to blend the color, but circulating. And they were beautiful, and they were about the size that the full moon appears. So they're not little lights, full moon size, green. And I'm standing there looking at these gorgeous, beautiful, vibrant color things, spinning in colors and no sound. And I was absolutely mesmerized, and I was enthralled by seeing this gorgeous, beautiful display. And I looked at him, and he's looking at me. And he says, they're pretty, aren't they? And I said, yes, they're beautiful. And then he looks up and talks to me. He said, they told me to tell you that they're going now. But they'll see you later. And they did. They started moving, and they went out north. And afterwards, we went back in, and I said, what did I just see tonight? And he said, that was us. We've been here for a long time. You just didn't know it. He said, we picked you a long time ago when you were a small child. We have something for you to do.
All right. Thank you, Truthseekah.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
Well, that was his story. I told you it was better when he shares it. That was the story. I put that story in my song, man. I loved it so much. Yeah.
I love your music when you sample people because they're so deep and it like gets you ready for the song.
It's something. It's another way to pay homage. It's another way to
Mm-hmm.
teach. It's another way to share somebody's work that a lot of my fan base didn't know who Jordan was. And I
Mm-hmm.
was able to put him in there like, man, who's that guy? Who is that? Hey, man, go listen to the full interview, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to be able to do that. And then I got this new song I did just a couple months ago, and I'm just dropping this little knowledge and going in hard on the verse. And then I say something about, I forgot the lyrics, but, you know, deeper than theology, like like the books of Micha Dank. I said in the
Right.
song. They
I
said, "Who is
love
Micha?"
that. I love
They
that.
said, "Who is Micha Dank?" I said, "Oh, y'all ain't read. Man, go read Micha Dank, man. Check Micha Dank out."
You know what I love
Yeah.
about you, Truth, honestly, which absolutely fascinates me, is that what you can do in a 3.5 minute song, I do in 255 pages of a book. Like, music is so incredible the way it can just take you on a journey and just activate the brain. Oh, it's perfect.
It's crazy to be able to, do that and give that experience to people and let
Yeah,
people unpack it.
yeah,
Maybe not even on the first listen. Man, what
right,
did he say? Jordan
right.
Maxwell. It's so fun to be able to pay that forward because we experienced magic that way, right? We
Yeah.
experienced, and in all those ways, even this, what we're doing right now in a podcast or just a hangout live stream,
Hmm.
dropping so many different perspectives and beauty that, maybe not right now, but then later something hits you. Pff, man, that's the guy. Truthseekah mentioned Jordan Maxwell was talking about his book. That's the guy. Somebody quotes him. How all this stuff ties together is just amazing.
We're a little bit over an hour now, guys. I'm just letting
Hmm.
you know that
Hmm.
Saturn timekeeping.
He never had kids, did he?
Not that
I
I
don't
know
think
of.
so.
No, he didn't have kids.
He
And
has mental children.
yes, yes, got us all together. It's
I can
I don't.
feel that the warmth and love. I know that Jordan is so freaking grateful that people are paying it forward and that he's not being forgotten and that we're going
Yeah.
to keep his memory alive, his teachings alive.
I think that he would be uncomfortable knowing all the people that respect him, but I think he would be happy with this stream. I think he was a very private person. He didn't seem like he cared for the fame or anything. What I don't understand, maybe you guys can explain, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but like I'm continuing his work, and I don't get death threats, and I don't get anything. Surprisingly, I don't. But why do you think he was so? Maybe it's just because he reached more people. I don't know. But why do you think he was so screwed over for his entire life? And now all this stuff is coming out, and no one's getting screwed over like that.
Well, death threats are definitely a thing. Like that definitely. There's a lot of mentally unstable people. A lot of crazy stuff out there. So there is that. But there's lawsuits. There's all this stuff going on behind this. There's cease and desist. There's gag orders. If you speak on people's names or mention their work and a lot, even you can even do a video, talking about Daryl Anka or whatever Bashar.
Daryl
He has
Anka.
a legal team who looks for you, and they send you cease and desist letters if you do anything and threaten you with multi-million-dollar lawsuits. So there's a lot of stuff, but again, there's a gag order. You can't even talk about it. So I think there was a lot that Jordan couldn't talk about. Jordan wasn't an angel. We know that. Jordan made enemies. It just, whether it's from telling the truth or bad business deals. Jordan made some of those. He made mistakes. So there's all of that stuff combined from being a pioneer, though. Like he was one of the first. Now there's
The thing that blows my
13,000 Jordan Maxwells, coming up under him because of the work that he did. And so maybe we got to hide behind a lot of that because it's usually the first one going out that's testing the water to see if this is okay. And yeah, he did it first, and that's why you salute him.
I think the most wild thing about him, like if I'm going through an ancient holy text, or when I was first starting out, and I was like, okay, I need to know where Ursa Major is, or I need to know where Camelopardalis is, or I need to know all these constellations within the 12. You know what I mean? I could just go online and look it up and be like, that's it, okay, and then make it fit.
Mm-hmm.
He went to libraries endlessly and went through books.
Copy machines.
Like, that blows my mind.
Yeah, making copies. He's making copies of books and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's insane that he got to his level of knowledge. Also, he was close with Manly P. Hall, right? I think he had his library at some point. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, I did. There's a clip of, and I made a snippet of
No,
it.
it's true.
I asked him about it. Yeah.
But it got damaged. Freeman Fly of FreemanTV.com was really trying to get a hold of that archive. But now Freeman believes that the archive is lost.
I mean,
Jordan seemed to be like unstable at the end, man. He was struggling to find a place to live and stuff. People talk about
he was working with Gaia of all places. No, that's a sign for help. Please help.
No, he freaking was, man. Like he didn't have nothing. People claim, he's Illuminati. That man died with nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's very true.
And
he died like Tesla.
Yeah, which is, he in the end it hurt him. Like he was bitter. You have all these friends who start off with you, and then it is the story of Jesus. I loved talking to him and about like Jesus, like if it's just how his life relates to the people who stand up for truth and against opposition, and how your best friends turn on you, and all of this stuff. And like it happened to him. Everyone turned on him, and seeing him as an opportunity. And I want to make sure that I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like he's given me many opportunities for just saying my name, and like he wrote my forward. I sell books because his name is on it. People don't know who I am. They buy he wrote the freaking forward, and it's like I'm still selling books because of him. People don't know me, but now you're getting it. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure I'm continuing to do that work, and hopefully, challenging other people to do the same, to say, hey, where'd you get your information? Like say their name. That's all he's asking. Tell these people Jordan Max, send them some money, man. Like do something, take care of his family, do something, man. Especially while they're here. Once they're gone, you can't do it anymore. So you can do it. Let's say that, and just in different ways. That's what we're doing right now.
Exactly.
Spiritual currency, baby. He's here with us.
He lives on.
For sure.
And if you would like to donate, this is Occult Priestess's link for donations. I would truly appreciate that. Thank you so much. I helped set up the stream tonight and co-hosting. And if any of you guys want to put your links in the chat, I'll put them up on the screen for you. So all you have to do is go into the YouTube chat and then type as usual, and you can put your links in there, you guys.
Oh, these comments are great.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the crowd this year. It's really well-rounded. There's a lot of new faces. There's things I haven't heard before that they're talking about. So all of us, we've attracted a really cool crowd tonight. So thank you guys for being here and joining us for the 3rd annual Jordan Maxwell Memorial.
Fantastic.
Really.
I love it.
Have you noticed any upgrades as far as carrying on Jordan's work, right? Carrying his torch. Have you found any like profound revelations or epiphanies that came to you or are coming to you when you think about Jordan, or when you think about his work in general, like that he's still teaching from beyond? You know what I'm saying? Have you noticed anything?
I'll send you.
I get it now. Wow, I get it.
I'll send you a video. It's not just the Bible. I found astrotheology in Sumerian work, Babylonian, Egyptian, the Bible. I found it in the Gnostic texts. I found it.
It's just increasing, right?
It's in everything. This astrological cipher is in everything. Every holy book.
My love for words and etymology, like it's always been there, but in the last 2 years, it's increased times 17,000. You know,
Yeah.
and that was Jordan's thing. You know, to know what these words mean, and even just the other day, I talked about this. Like, it was actually the Alan Steinfeld interview with Jordan, where he's talking about words and etymology, and he said everyone needs to go to the Oxford Language Dictionary. Everyone needs to go to the Oxford Dictionary because that'll tell you, that's a record of how the words, you know, not what they mean, but what they meant. What they meant, and then what they continued to mean to different civilizations back to the earliest times that they have any kind of records or whatever for the English language. And I remember him saying that, and I was like, I gotta get the Oxford, you know, encyclopedias. And so I was trying to look them up the next day, and couldn't find any that were affordable. But I ended up finding Oxford website that you can go online and get a couple free searches, if you will, for words. And it was just 2 or 3 words that I was blown away by going to Oxford. And I was like, wow, I got to get a subscription. I ended up buying a subscription to the Oxford English Dictionary. Like, out of all
Shepherd's
the
here.
subscriptions we have, now I've got this yearly subscription to Oxford. But hey, Jordan said it, man, and he's still speaking stuff. that
Dude,
just
Shepherd
kinda,
Embellish is here.
Shepherd.
Shepherd is here. That is wild. Welcome.
So yeah, check
I don't
out
think
the
I've ever
Oxford.
said his name out loud. I just read it all the time.
Yeah, this is.
So we got Crown Jewels over here, and Crown Jewels, Truthseekah. If you do not know them, I think you guys need to get together. I think you guys will love each other, and I'd like to play a little bit of their video that he wants me to play for you. Are you guys over in England, Crown Jewels? So I'm going to go ahead and share that real quick. And we'll be right back, guys. We will be right back.
Time or another, we've all questioned as to whether all that we see and are experiencing has some sort of a rational plan behind it.
Now let me tell you how I see it. Trying to flee these evil spirits is the lyricist. When I spit knowledge out your pyramids, when I grab the mic to read and see last rise to the sound of bagpipes, I fight until the last strike is thrown alone. I'm not waiting for no strife to be sold. I'll take the life apart, the flesh in your bones. See, I've been fighting plagues and curses inside of Satan's verses. When I put the faith in self, but not inside of Satan's verses. I never take purchase while my soul stays a purist. My scripts of passion filled with joy. Every verse is flawless in my reminiscence. We took from the good book of Genesis, legends of legacies from Nephilim to Pegasus. Time keeps moving, it don't stop or wait. Your time will come too if you can cooperate. That's how they operate. They've already gave you the sign. You watch the 2 twins falling while the world watch blind, yo.
We know, of course, that we cannot depend on our leaders. Our leaders are misleaders. There is a science that they're following. They have their own agenda, and it doesn't
You see, we live in time that broken scriptures, women to the witches, triggers into following bitches, and selling our social riches, broken bitches, sadistic women getting twisted, statistic of the mystic, horror of the soul to be infected, that's being protected in these last days and hours, under strict control from Babel towers, we obey the powers, I spray cowards with brain powers like rain showers, I burn your flames and names in the same hour, I spit the lyrical rapture, across the greenest pasture, I swear to God I kill you all, now if my team is captured, I drown these armies in tsunamis and drop boulders on your shoulders. It's my destiny to die to get it over. Big rolls on my shoulder, dressed up as a cold rock. I reside with the righteous, not no Nazi soldiers. This is knowledge for the next realm, so let me enlighten you. The raising false flags to brighten you and take the right from you. It's already done, they're not trying to. They're not trying to. It's already done, they're not trying to.
It
Yeah.
is a fraternal order. However, we're not supposed to know anything about that. because that's not our business. That fraternal order in politics and banking has been known for many years by those in the inside. It has been referred to by different names in different times in different countries.
Look who's back again, boy, it's the champion team. And I give you nightmares, who's the torture your dreams. With these images and screams, I come from afar, just to put it in your brain like life on Mars. Yeah, this life is hard, but I'm built to survive. You can tell by the family and the look in my eyes. So watch me rise, just like a phoenix from the ashes. I'm standing where the smoke clears from the final disasters. You're sweating in your raptures, there in the scriptures. We're only sitting waiting to see what gets delivered. It's all there in the lines, the stars and the suns. While we're living the life as though time has just begun. This place is overrun just like rats in the sewer. While the ones who make it out are getting farther and fewer. Should have listened to the prophets, they came here to warn us. I'm glad I've got an insight to see what's round the...
All right. Amazing. I love that. Prophets. It's all around the corner. That's right. 2007. That's amazing. Thank you, Crown Jewels and Truthseekah. I hope you guys hook up.
That was dope. That's that old school Jordan Maxwell too when he was younger.
Isn't that amazing? This is so cool. Thank you so much. I love to have musicians in this field because it is one of the best ways of teaching, period. And plus it's fun.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of fun. Oh, cool. Much love, sister. Much love, Crown Jewels. Everyone in Crown Jewels is married. I already asked.
I don't know if I told you guys last time, but so Jordan is from the Gulf Breeze, Pensacola, Florida area.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's known as a UFO hotspot. There's been so many sightings over the years that have made like national news or whatever, national coverage. But anyway, driving through Pensacola, going to Gulf Breeze in that direction, you pass by a intersection of two major roads. One is Jordan Street, and the other one is Maxwell Street. And so I always think of it because it's an exit, and the two signs are there, Jordan and Maxwell. Like you exit to go to Jordan Maxwell there.
That is crazy sausages.
Always driving through Pensacola, and I'm like, man, he's from here, and there's a Jordan in Maxwell. I'm like, come on, man, like this is crazy.
That is so cool.
Maybe he was Illuminati. Nah.
They're the original Illuminati, the illuminated man.
Right, come on.
Be in friendship and working in the Astral College because you're a teacher from the Astral College. That's what I believe.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Danka, did you see that question for you?
I'm answering it right now, but YouTube rejected my comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit.
Well, say it out loud.
Yeah, I will. Of course. The Hadith. Yeah, I'm going to go into that.
Excuse me for one moment. I have to powder my nose. Haha.
I am going to do the Hadith. I'm moving soon. And when I get set up in my new place, I am just going to have a ton of content. I'm just going to go through. I have so much that I still need to do. And right now I'm just trying to get things in order. And then once I'm where I'm supposed to be, it's going to come out like wildfire. The interesting truth, people who take the Bible literally, they're like, well, what does this word mean? Well, what does this word mean? You're decoding the Bible with astrology. People try and tell me that's not what the word meant initially. And I tell people, nobody is arguing the interpretation of what, like when they say there's a goat, a ram, and a bull, right? That's Capricorn, Aries, and Taurus. Aries and Taurus are connecting signs. Nobody, when they talk about them being sacrificed, nobody is arguing the interpretation of these animals. It's other things that they're arguing. So when I do my work, it completely avoids that whole part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's they don't know. They just take it literal, and you see where it got us.
Yeah.
You know, it's you see where it got us when you know, when the things that were spiritual or astrological or allegorical are taken literally. And it's not even the literal part. It's, I mean, it is the words. They don't know what they don't know what the words mean. And a
Right.
lot of them, Jordan like sprinkled some stuff in years ago that I just heard him in passing on some old presentations that now I'm like diving in, and I'm like, I'll just be honest with you, I talked to Jordan like, you got to help me understand this, because this is, I know it's because he knew it. And so I caught that he gave some words in passing. And just to let you know that the words were the different words that are used for mankind in the Bible. Man, because you know there's different Adams, Adam, Adawam, Adapa, and it's different beings. It's not just one man. It's not a man named Adam. You know, Genesis tells you that God created the first being, and he created the first being, male and female, and he called them Adam. And then in the next chapter, then he creates Adam. Then Adam goes to sleep, and out of his rib, he takes and creates
Right.
what we think is a female. So all of those words that I think they, you know, they kept Jordan awake at night, and they keep me awake at night. But the word in particular was the Hebrew word for ish, and it was a type of man. And Jordan, in a couple presentations, were like, we don't know who these ishes are, but they're not the same as a Adam. And Adam is not a ish. And I know that always stuck with me, but like trying to decipher who's who and what's what, because these Adams and Ishes and Gabors and all of these different mighty men, they're all like having relationships together, and we're misinterpreting some of the text that is profound. Like, I'll just be honest with you, man shall not lay with mankind as he lies with womankind. That's not talking about two gay men, just like Sodom and Gomorrah wasn't talking about gay guys. It's talking about these different beings and different souls that are incarnating and mixing, and it was allowed to happen, and people got judged, nations got judged for it, and people suffered because of it. And Jordan understood that was talking about different beings. So a lot of information is coming out from different perspectives, but that's a huge one, is to figure out who they are. The same thing continues in the Greek in the New Testament. You know, the different mans, and aner, or anthropos, or whatever. There's different types of beings that are being talked about, and we're just, you know, as primitive as we are now, we have no idea. We think it means to hate somebody who's different, or somebody who's attracted to the same. That does not, by any means, is not what that means, by any means.
I like it.
Jordan understood it, man. I didn't. I wasn't ready for it. I am now. Most people aren't, though, because they're like, no, you lost me at that. God hates gay people. No,
So at
you
the
hate
root
gay.
of this,
You
at
do.
at the root of this, people don't want to believe they have been fed a bucket of lies, and their cognitive dissonance is stronger
Yes.
than those lies. So some people are just stuck in the. I mean, if you take this literally, you think. Do you know how many Christians I see talking about how they talk about themselves like they're wretched sinners? That's the words they use. Wretched sinners that don't deserve grace. And imagine waking up every day just thinking you're a piece of shit every single day. Like, how do you do that? Like, how is that?
The opposite, though. I mean, it's a dichotomy. Imagine being a piece of shit, waking up thinking that you are the shit.
Right. True.
Like, hey, I can do no wrong. It's like, stay away from that guy.
Right.
That guy's a piece of shit. You know, and you think you got both sides, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's truth, though, because even with the Bible stuff, because then the Christians or the pastors or the priests will then justify their BS with, but the Bible and God put me here, and I'm the one over you. And that's where all of this, that's the people Jordan had a problem with, for sure. Some of it came out quite harsh on some of the podcasts I've done with them. We was listening to some, I think the day before yesterday, And my wife's like her first time hearing it. She's like, "What?" Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he let it slip, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he called it like it was. He wasn't afraid.
Spirit Wolf says the level of brainwashing is unimaginable. It's hard to come out of it and wake up to the truth. And what I'd like to ask is, you're talking about the Bible and Christianity a whole lot. So to ask, what does the Bible and Christianity say about people who just can't get it? Because where I'm coming from, what I was told through channeling, through listening to the gods, is that people cultivate their soul through lifetimes. And so you're growing your soul from lead to gold through lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some people are dimmer and some people are brighter, because they have grown closer to God or closer to truth and love. And some people have grown further away from that. And that's why the mysteries will be lost on them, because they haven't been cultivating the golden soul. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so can you tell me what Christianity says about stupid people and why they're stupid? Is it the devil?
Well, Christianity or the Bible? See, that's the dichotomy too. It's like, so with the Bible, I think
choose.
the Bible would say, I think the Bible would say exactly what you just said. That's
Really?
the way yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we can look back and see the ones who were continually making mistakes in the Bible, like in the Old Testament, or just going back to the earliest mentions of these people, who they would come and they would do something very treacherous, and they would die, and they would. You see their names popping up later, but they taught us to believe that was a different person.
Right.
And it was, but you know that it's not. When they start doing this, they get a chance to take the same test again, and they either pass or fail in the next iteration of them. All the way from Genesis to Revelation, you've got these people coming back, and they're doing the same thing, but the way we don't understand it, how like that's what you're saying is even in the Bible, is because in one you're reading like the Greek interpretation of their name, because there was no Matthew, right, in the Hebrew, or a John, which you have in the Greek, but in the Hebrew they're under different names. But if you look up the phonetics, as Jordan taught me, then I'm like, wow, this is, Einhorn is Finkel, Finkel is Einhorn. This is the same person, Old and New Testament in different ages, which are the same thing, emanations from the stars who are coming down, experiencing life and seeing what it's like to be human and take these tests. And, it's all cycles that are telling the story.
Right.
And if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it,
Right. So
And that goes for your soul.
Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of comments talking about Yahweh. So what Jordan taught about Yahweh was basically this. Yahweh was a Phoenician Canaanite god, one of many gods that the Jews chose. He was chosen. Yahweh is not God that you think of, the creator of everything. He is a lesser god who is very jealous, who demands blood sacrifice. And Jordan just went into all this, and it totally makes sense. Truth, what do you make of people who say
on that point?
Yeah.
Jehovah, which is a lot of people call God Jehovah, especially the Jehovah's Witnesses, was actually a female fertility goddess before it was Jehovah. So just like our saints, all the saints before were pagan gods, Saint Bridget, and all of them. So not all of them, like Saint Patrick. No, he's totally your Catholic. You can keep him. But I'm just saying, these are all appropriations.
Why do you guys think, Truth? Why do you think Jay-Z calls himself Hova? Jehovah. People don't put that together.
Wow.
Yeah, because he's a 5%er from the Nation of Islam.
Doesn't he do this? What does this mean?
Gods and the nations.
No, he does this.
Gods and Earth.
He does
I know he does that, but I got a picture of him doing this too.
I don't know what this is, but this, you guys have seen this, right?
Yes.
This is the original Jay-Z symbol. This is the benediction. that the ancient Jewish priests used to put on one another.
It's a
I
movie.
mean, not ancient Jewish
I do
rabbi
this ritual
priests.
through
Right.
nature.
This is called the benediction. This is they would do this sign and they would do it to the congregation. It was a blessing.
I know it has to do with
Jay-Z
your
just
third
perverted
eye.
it.
It's for the third eye is what that is, by the way. It's probably
Everything goes back to the third
Oh,
eye.
it is.
Everything.
well, actually everything should go back to the heart. I mean, that really, even if you're stupid, you can get into your heart, and the heart has all the wisdom. That I heard on David Knight this week. He was quoting the Bible, and he said the heart is a liar. And I'm like, not my heart. My heart's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all that nonsense is, but you should be able to trust your heart. But what he was talking about was the ego. You can't trust your ego or your lust. But he didn't say it that way.
Well,
He
that's
said,
Proverbs.
"The heart is a liar."
No,
That's
it's,
Proverbs 3:4-6.
Jeremiah 17.
Trust in God, you're with your whole heart, and lean not on your own understanding.
Yikes. If I can't lean on my own understanding, what the hell?
Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's so crazy. It's like context is key.
It must
Context is key. And it's like, yeah, the whole follow your heart, and you can feel in your heart, but that's only one scripture that he quoted to you. It's Jeremiah 17, that the heart is deceitful amongst all things and wicked. Who can know it? But it goes on to say God can know it, and he can change it, and he can help me and he can touch my heart.
That's right.
He can take away my hard, cold heart, because I've been through a lot of stuff, and he can give me a new one. He can heal my heart.
So
I have a broken heart. That's why I'm angry. So the scripture would say, allow God to touch your heart and heal your heart, and then you can follow it. It's not going to lead you astray. So
that's
right.
wonderful. You see how you turned that around? Because the other way it was very damning, and it was for the rest of
They
your
all
life.
say that, though. It's so silly. They all like, don't trust your heart, brother. Like, what else are we going to trust? The pastor? Hell no.
Hell no. That's the whole thing. It's the slavery dynamic that I always pick out these little pieces. I'm like, ooh, that's scary. Don't do that. But you totally, you got a right mind. You're right.
These are just Christian isms that we've been, that I've said, I've quoted that. I've said the same thing that guy told you. I've said that. Until I'm
guys,
like, hold on. God touched our hearts and gave us a new heart. Why are we talking about this hard heart that we can't trust no more?
Yeah.
We've been, we know that, like at the dentist, they give you fluoride. There's fluoride in the water. Everything calcifies your pineal gland. Everything comes at you to calcify your pineal gland. But do you think that back in history, instead of destroying this, humanity knew this? We know they knew this, but do you think they encouraged it? Like built up the third eye, started doing mantras, meditations, maybe candle gazing, things of that nature, that society used to build up the third eye instead of destroy it?
Yeah, we used to have rituals as public fun things, like all these picnics that everybody's doing, even family reunions. All of these used to be seasonal rituals that we all went to and had fun at. And we had community, and I don't even know my neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You remember back in the day?
Right? It's by design.
You remember back in the day when we didn't have cell phones and it was a landline and someone would call and we'd pick up and talk to them and they would come over and we'd have dessert? Nowadays, you see a call on your phone, you don't even pick it up.
It's true.
Crazy.
It's true. Well, we are a little different. We're on social media, so we get a few more calls than the average bear. But yeah, we are in the communications industry, so we tend to be that kind of busy.
Yeah, the world's changing, for sure.
But I try to find community here. You guys are my friends, and I have a lot of friends online. And it's interesting because I can feel you guys, and that's how I can call you my friends. But usually when I haven't met somebody, I don't say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely colleagues in it together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, somebody brought up Mark Passio, but it wasn't a very kind comment. I think Mark Passio, so people know Mark Passio, What on Earth Is Happening.com.
He swears too much.
For his yelling, for his rah, even worse than Alex Jones, really. He's Alex Jones on crack a bit. And they said that he's become bitter and tragic. But I would say Mark Passio was born that way. And I also think Jordan Maxwell was born that way. He was born an old man. And I think that talks about how many past lives he's had. Because even as a younger man, I could see the old man in him. I think you guys would probably agree with that.
Do you guys think if you're someone who takes the Bible literally and live your life like this, do you think that if you don't begin to see what the universe is truly about, do you think that if you take everything literally that you have to reincarnate again?
No.
I think that we're judged on our heart, not anything logical that we might have done in life. What do you think?
Yeah, it's, that's, to be honest, like that's one of the things that that's addressed in the book of Romans at the very beginning, Romans 1 and 2. Like it talks about how the Jewish people, this is Paul talking, the Jewish people had to be told, hey, thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not lie. They had to have it written and inscribed in stone. You're not supposed to kill anybody. And you're not supposed to steal. And if you do, I'm going to have to punish you. Right? So was like these people that, were rebellious or whatever the case is, and they needed to learn how to be civilized or whatever. And so they gave them laws. And so the book of Romans, Paul's talking about this, and they say, okay, so what about the unbeliever, or what about the pagan who doesn't know our laws? They don't know. They're not like one of us. How does God deal with them? And it says that the unbeliever, or the pagan by nature, is doing the very things by nature that you had to be told to do. Nobody had, he knew that stealing was wrong. He knew that if he killed somebody because he got angry, and now that person's family's mourning, that person's not here, maybe your anger got the best of you, that guy's dead. They knew that no, we don't need to do that. You had to be told not to do it. So Paul like addresses these things as like, you had to literally be told not to kill. And you have these people who, they don't know what astrotheology is. They don't know our lingo, but they're good people. They don't know anything about religion and, the stars, but they know a thing about helping people and doing their best and following their heart, because their heart is good and they know they have goodness in there to do that. So, and it says God judges them based on that. So I wish more Christians would preach that, But,
well, it's a power game, isn't it? If you can tell somebody they're a sinner, then you have power over them.
For sure. Yeah, you can't bottle it and sell that. God loves everybody. Good day, everyone. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now everybody have a great night. Like, that's what Jesus did. And they're like, no, we can't sell that. You can't.
See, exactly. It was not marketable at all.
You have to corner the market, and you have to have the exclusivity, which, Christianity, that's their thing, and it's not true. It's not true. Jesus has, spoke a lot about, I have other sheep that are not of this fold, that you have no idea that I have people that are, you can't talk to them, because it's interesting to think about that. He won't let his followers talk to them because they would kill them, because they would hurt them. They wouldn't receive them. It's beautiful to see people in their maturity, in their older age, specifically people like Billy Graham, who came to like a universalist understanding at the end of his life, like the greatest, evangelist, and reached millions of souls for Jesus and all this kind of stuff. He's on record saying, man, listen, there's people who are Muslims, Hindus, they might not even have heard the name of Jesus, but they're good people, and they know deep down that they need something outside of themselves that they call God, and they search for that. And they may be Muslims and Hindu. And he says, I believe they're part of the body of Christ, and they'll be with us in heaven. And when that came out, that he said that in an interview, the Christians were like, off with his head. He's a shill. He's a paid act. He's a crisis actor. All this kind of, come on, man. Like, the moment he says something that challenges your dogma, the greatest of what most Christians are aspiring to be, you're evangelists and making millions and reaching the world for God or whatever you're trying to do. He did it, and he lived his life. And as an old man, he's like, listen, I talk to Dalai Lama, I talk to everybody, Christians. Man, listen, there's people who know God that you don't know. And if it was up to you, we would all be in hell. Thank God that our salvation isn't based on our neighbors. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Christianity tries to push, but that's not the truth. If they witness to you and tell you you get to get into heaven, then you get to get in heaven. What if they're having a bad day and don't feel like telling you? Maybe they feel like you deserve to go to hell. Wouldn't that suck if that's the way God designed it? That if that person doesn't come tell you about Jesus, then you don't get in or you don't hear this. So astrotheology is like, man, listen, it don't matter where, and
Well,
it's not
you
just
know what?
astrotheology.
You know what
It's
Christians will say?
nature. It's paganism.
Mhm.
We can look into gaze at a flower and see the beauty of God. I gaze at the sun and start weeping like a baby and be saying thank you for life and existence and for energy and for dying, you know what I'm saying, raising again for me every day and coming back and helping me get through my dark night.
Right.
Not just every winter, but every 24 hours. Like, this is clockwork, and it's in your Bible.
Well, what do Christians say about people who were born before Jesus was alive?
They in hell.
What they say for people like Abraham and Moses is they were saved through their works. That's how they justify it.
So
There's
they
so many contradictions. It's
Sheol.
ridiculous.
Hey, Sheol does kind of tie into Elysium, though, a little
Really?
bit. Just this place that is, set apart for people. Like, don't go to heaven. Like, there's a cool place inside the earth that you'll get to go to. Like, this place for mortals who have been good, and the gods have granted them, everlasting life, if you will. So I think
Wow.
they all tie in somewhere. The lines are so similar. It's interesting.
Yeah, Hermes is in the Bible, and he is treated as an elder, as someone who came before, who's not even a part of their religion. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes I've ever done on my channel, Priestess, was when you broke down for us the difference between Hermes Trismegistus and Thoth.
Yeah, that's huge. Many people have been brainwashed to believe Hermes was Thoth.
Billy Carson, that's all he talks about.
It is Billy Carson.
Because he got a book he's going to sell you and a compendium to go with it.
Yeah, that's the blue chicken people. The people who promoted them, like Jimmy Church, is promoting Billy Carson now. So it's the same people who were behind the blue chickens. The same money is going toward Billy Carson.
Yep.
And now everyone thinks Thoth is Hermes, when before Billy Carson, no one had ever really heard of Hermes. Not much. Right. And it's like, why are you all interested all of a sudden? Just like Anunnaki and Zachariah Sitchin and being slave race and all of these things. I was not put here to be a slave, and I know you guys weren't either. If we're a slave to anything, it's a slave to God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, slave is a servant too, though, because like a servant is a slave. When we think of slave, we think of
Yeah, but God doesn't oppress me or put a boot on my neck.
Exactly.
Or tell me to wear a mask.
Exactly. So that's really when we talk about etymology, the slaves and the servants or whatever, those same words are used interchangeable for angels. And if you conjure a spirit and it comes to serve you, he got to listen to you. You got to feed him.
Demon. Right.
So I'm telling you, like,
the temple.
Listen, that's what they're talking about. That's what the Bible's talking about. Spirits, man, summoning. They would gladly be slaves. They say, listen, I'd love to come help you. Pay me good. Spirits on the other side, and that's maybe what we're doing right now.
People who are psychic and sensitive need to be very aware of that the darkness, the spirits, the voices, the dead are starting to talk to people. That's all coming online now. And people are starting to have more nightmares. Their dreams are weird. Things are starting to happen, but it's probably going to come to more of a fruition. We'll be able to see it more during the election season, which is coming up. Danka is going to be a big part of that election season, we hope. Tell us again about what you're doing over there.
I'm not going to share exactly what I shared it with you, Priestess, behind the scenes, but I'm Truth, I'll send it to you too. I'm not going to share this publicly because I don't want it to be stopped. I'm doing a very big marketing thing in 4 cities on Guy Fawkes Day, which I found out is Election Day, which is going to be crazy.
Remember.
Yeah. I'll keep you guys
November.
posted.
Yeah.
But I'm doing something big.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to that, Danka. Truth, what do you have going on in your life right now? Please share.
I'm stepping into a new season with my wife, who just went full time with me. She felt released after a major shift and awakening at one of our retreats, and felt released from her job, ministry, passion that she'd been at for 15 years to partner with me and dive deep into the Truthseekah world of online curriculum and podcasting and music and all this kind of stuff. So that's been fun. And that's what we've
Amazing.
been
Oh my
doing.
God. Congratulations
We're
on
about a
getting
month
your
in.
partner to be your partner.
Yeah, partner in other endeavors. She's always supported me and been my partner for sure. But yeah, she's like getting on songs with me and stuff now, and doing interviews and stuff with me. So yeah, so
That's
fun.
going to make things so much easier.
It's a totally new dynamic, but it's been amazing so far, and we're just learning. And we have a Seer school. It's just seer.school, and we have community and our hangouts. Kind of like I turned my Patreon into that to be more inclusive,
Oh, nice.
but really focusing on the curriculum and
What's your
weekly
Patreon?
hangouts and all that good stuff. patreon.com/Truthseekah.
Sweet. Patreon is great for creators, you guys. You should really be on there, at least giving $1 a month to everyone you love. Danka and I will be setting up Patreon, won't we, Danka?
I'm being told I never wanted to, because I wanted my work to be free for everyone, but I'm gonna have to at some point if I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, we all have some kind of paywall going on at some time, but we always do service for free. So I think it evens out just fine.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, there's a lot of those people in the chat right now would love to be on here asking you questions and just hanging out with you. So doing a once a month. I was actually getting ready to start one for Jordan. When I'd seen how
Wow.
low Jordan was, I was like, man, I'll run it for you. Like, it'll blow up. Like he didn't have anything. He didn't have money like to even eat with. People.
It was really bad, you guys.
Yeah.
I think
digress.
a lot
But
more
yeah,
audience.
start your Patreon.
Say what? Go ahead.
I'll be your first subscriber.
Yes.
Patreon for the win. So we are coming up here on the second hour. We have been up for 1:52. And instead of we didn't do the countdown at the beginning. So I'm just going to play it when we leave. We're going to play our countdown, which is a nice little memorial to Jordan Maxwell.
Beautiful. So do you guys want to share where everyone can find you, since we're coming up to the end?
Sounds great. Go ahead, Truth.
Truthseekah.com. Check me out.
My website is debunkmywork.com. All my social media is on it. My YouTube channel. There's a way to email me at the bottom. All my videos for extra theology are on there. I've decoded 64 books so far, and they're all on the website.
That sounds like a hell of a lot of work.
You have no idea, but it's fun.
I have no idea.
I love it. I love it.
How did you do it? Were you alone in a room on the floor with some pens? Like physically, how did you do it?
I'll explain to you what I figured out. It took me 12 years to get to this point to do it this easily, but I'll tell you what I did. What I took was Ptolemy's list in 150 AD of the 48 constellations.
So Ptolemy is spelled with a P?
PT. Yeah. Ptolemy. I took his constellation list from 150 AD. And what I did was, there was only 48 of them. We know there's 88 constellations now. What I did was, I went through the 12 zodiac signs and I looked at the rest of them. And there was about 5 that I use. The Chariot, the Cup, and there's a couple more too. So what I do is I use these keywords and I find them in these ancient holy texts. I'll go chapter by chapter. So one chapter will talk about, I'll have these random words in it. That because I go through the 12 signs of the zodiac. For example, the bull is like bull, calf, cow, ox. Cow's the female bull. So each one of these zodiac signs has keywords that make sense with it. And when you take these keywords and you put them and you look, you understand the keywords and you look through them in these ancient holy texts and you go chapter by chapter, they're there and you highlight them. And when you're done with it, what you do is you put all the scripture verses together and you see which sign is in one.
Mm-hmm.
And based on that, it forms the most incredible patterns in the heavens.
That's amazing. Yeah, I need more visuals. Visuals. Some of us learn that way, but it sounds really cool.
Priestess, where are you?
Yay. Hi, Mary. So I'm at occultpriestess.com. I'm at Rockfin, which where you can subscribe to me and you can see all my work. I put very few things here on YouTube. So rockfin.com/occultpriestess. Please subscribe over there. I really appreciate it. Facebook, Corinne Wilson, and Twitter at Occult Priestess or at occultpriestess@gmail.com. So that's me. I've been working on the internet for about 16 years on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a lot of content, and I've been a professional psychic for over 30 years now. I just had my 50th birthday, Aquarius.
Mm-hmm.
So if you would like a tarot reading, I am the best.
Weren't you born the same day as Alex Jones?
Alex Jones and I are birthday twins, same year, same day, but we're quite different, Alex and I. But I am an expert tarot reader and excellent counselor, so please come see me.
Right. So
also, one more thing. If you want to go live stream, if you want to make YouTube videos, if you need someone to help you, I will take small donations to help you get live, get on the air, and get your craft together. So I'm definitely offering that as well.
Right. I just feel so good doing this every year,
I love it. Don't you?
It's so nice. My hope is that eventually, when this grows, we have 49 people in right now. It was peaking at like 60 at one point.
Amazing.
Yeah. What I'd like to do is have people come in and talk with us and share their stories. Not just in the comments section, but bring them on.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe we can look into that next. We have a year, but we can look into that.
Now, in the future, when we're all rich and prosperous, because we've done such great work, then we can have a convention. And that is when the party starts.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
Oh,
guys.
I do have this. This is updated with me too. So my book that I put out, Spirit Realm, Angels, Demons, Spirits, and the Sovereignty of God, foreword by Jordan Maxwell, just got hard copies. Like this, I put it out in 2019, and I've only had soft paperback, and I just got this in like a week ago. So I'm thrilled that this is hard copy, man. I'm excited. It's
congratulations.
It seems like way more official. I thought it was gonna be a lot harder than it was, but I'm excited for this for sure.
Congrats, man. Priestess, people think it's actually your birthday.
Yeah, so February 11th was my birthday. I turned 50 along with Alex Jones. So, man, Truthseekah, did you have to hit a certain number of sales or something for it to get the hardback? Tell me about that.
No, I think I just overcomplicated it and thought it was going to be harder than it was to format what was already hard, getting my soft copy. Instead, you had to change everything and change the I was like,
the format. You had to change everything.
So you got to change the format. And really, I didn't. I only had to change a little bit. And yeah, it was really easy once I sat down.
You just had to go through it.
I talked to a friend of mine who got one he did his, and he's like, oh, it's very simple. I was like, oh well, guess I need to do it. So yeah.
Truth,
Thank
would you
goodness
be
for those
willing?
friends.
Truth, would you be willing to do a book swap with me? My first one for yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sign it
Hopefully
and
we'll
send
hopefully we're gonna cross paths in person, and if everything still
Yeah.
goes good soon. Yeah.
And I'm going to be coming to both of you for advice on writing my own book.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have to help me.
He's way ahead of me, so we probably need to come to him for sure.
Okay.
So, all right, we're at 2 hours right now. Do you want to play the outro?
Yeah, we'll play the outro. So thank you everyone for being here, for joining us this evening. Our hearts go out to you. We're all fans of Jordan Maxwell, and we're all smarter than the average bear. And so thank you for being our friend. And please share this stream with others, people you know that love Jordan Maxwell. So any last thoughts, guys?
I'm just happy to see you both.
I love this, and I love
Likewise,
your guys'
it's
energy.
fun.
Truth, we don't talk nearly as much as we used to, but I got nothing left but love for you, brother.
Hey, text me, man. I love to roll. I don't have many people I can talk to about this stuff, so especially off record. It's usually on camera, so hit me
Right.
up anytime. Yeah. Rolling crazy ideas at each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So another year gone. We love you, Jordan. Thank you for your teachings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
First time I died was in the arms of good friends of mine. They kissed me with the tears. They had been near me for years. Say, why do it now when I won't be around? I'm going out. Only tragedy allows the release of love and grief, never normally seen. I didn't want to let them see me weak. I didn't want to let them see me weak. But I know I've shown that I stand at the gates alone. To love me too. I wait for all the love, all the love, all the love you should have given. All the love, all the love, all the love we could have given. All the love, all the love, all the love. The next time I dedicate my life's work to the friends I make, I give them what they want to hear. They think I'm up to something weird and up real is the head of fear. So now when they ring, I get my machine to let them in. To love me too. I wait for all the love, all the love, all the love you should have given.
night.